Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome, living beneficiaries, to the show for living beneficiaries, the House of Hidalgo show on the Estate Radio Network. Prepare for the most educational 60 minutes on all of radio with your host, Rick Hidalgo. The House of Hidalgo show can be followed on Twitter or Facebook by searching House of Hidalgo. Find the show on the web at www.therockofsalem.org. Sign up for the newsletter, and while you're there, take the 5-question survey to let us know what you think. The Estate Radio Network is part of the Blog Talk Radio family of networks and can be found at www.blogtalkradio.com/South Dakota DP. Join the show now by chat or call 619-639-4605. Don't forget to dial 1 to get in the queue. Here's your host, Rick Hidalgo! Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Rick Hidalgo, the host of the House of Hidalgo show on the Estate Radio Network. Tonight's going to be an abbreviated session in that we only have 30 minutes to do this show in because my guest decided to change it up on me a little bit at the last minute, which was fine. And basically, what she's having me do is call in to a conference call that's happening as we speak. I'm going to call into it right now, and we'll get to hear the conference call.
Welcome. This service is provided by freeconferencecall.com.
Please enter your access code followed by the pound sign. Please enter your access code followed by the pound sign.
The number you have dialed has not been recognized.
Please enter your
try
access
again.
code followed by the pound sign. Please enter your access code followed by the pound sign. Please enter your access code followed by the pound sign.
Okay, it's not going to let us do it that way, so I'm going to have to use Skype. Bear with me a moment, folks, as I get this all together here. All right. Oh, shoot. Okay, let's do it this way.
Welcome. This service is provided by freeconferencecall.com.
Please enter your access code followed. You entered 842449. If this is correct, press 1. To re-enter your access code, there are 34 participants in this conference. This conference is being recorded. Muted.
Guess maybe what we're going to do this evening, I'm going to be here sharing with you what is called this breakthrough in science. And maybe Peg, I guess what we're going to do is that we're going to have to maybe do a text over. So I apologize for those of you that are on the call. But what you're going to be hearing about this evening is what is called a technology that evolved as a result of a man called Dr. Bill Andrews. When he was 6 years old, his father said, "Son, you're getting older." And he says, "I think that we need to somehow, in our lifetime, take a look at how we age and why we age." And that's where the beginning of the thought process began. All right, Dave, thank you for being with us. And I'm going to hand it over to you, and you can start from the beginning of the story about what is this amazing breakthrough in science and research.
Well, thank you, everybody. Sorry about that. I think I did dial in on the wrong side. I've been doing so many conference calls, I think I automatically hit the wrong button. So I apologize. And I am pulled over in the middle of the desert, driving home from Palm Springs, where we just had an incredible meeting at Dr. Mike Casey's. And now I'm pulled over just out of Barstow on the side of the freeway. So I'm so passionate and so excited and enthusiastic about what's happening. At this point now, I think I'm approaching 700 presentations, Liddy, in the last 2 years. And, man, every time I get up and share this information with people, I'm just so filled with this energy, and it's exciting. So thank you for joining the call tonight. And, Liddy, thank you for saying yes. You are an incredible human being that is so filled with love and the desire to make a difference in people's lives, and I know that that's what motivates you, and I'm so thankful that you said yes. For those of you that are new on the call tonight, I was introduced to Bill Andrews back in 2009, and our company was announcing a collaboration between this great man who I had never heard the name of before. And the company gave him about an hour and a half, 2 hours to teach what he had been researching now for over 30 years. And that guy had me at hello. He said somewhere between the ages of 6 and 12, his dad had talked him into stopping the aging process, and by 12 years old, he became fully committed. And he came up with the motto, I am going to cure aging or die trying. And it's been his lifelong pursuit. He became a geneticist, and he discovered something very great in 1994 that directly dealt with just that purpose in his life. He discovered something called the human telomerase gene. Now, before I go into the telomerase gene and what Bill's contribution is to date, let's go back to 1950 when they discovered the telomere. A telomere sits on the ends of your chromosomes. And in the last 20 to 25 years, because technology is advanced and we have electron microscopes and MRIs and computer imaging, they know the role that this telomere is playing in the biology of the human body. And it's a big, critical role. In fact, in 2009, this telomere that sits on the end of the chromosome was linked to every symptom of aging and every degenerative issue. So when we talk about aging, we're talking about slowing down, wrinkled skin, gray hair, thinning hair, balding hair, aging spots, things like that, things that really show the signs of the years taking their toll. But when we talk about degenerative issues, we're talking about cancer, MS, muscular dystrophy, thyroid disease, Alzheimer's, dementia, loss of vision, loss of hearing. The list goes on, diabetes, arthritis. Every symptom of aging and every degenerative issue has been pinpointed to this particular place in the human body at the tips of the chromosomes. So as I've been lecturing around the country, I think most people know that term DNA, but they don't really know the critical role that the DNA is playing. When you're looking at somebody, their physical features, whether it's their hair, their skin, their posture, everything that we're looking at physically in somebody is really the expression of the DNA. And what they've learned is that as cells divide, something's happening to the DNA. The DNA sits in your chromosomes, is interwoven into the chromosomes, and at the end of the chromosomes is this telomere. And the telomere is wearing away as cells divide. And it's the protector of the DNA. It's like the plastic tip on the shoestring. It holds the shoestring together. Well, that's what the telomere is to the DNA, and it's wearing away. So I pose the question, if the protector of your DNA is wearing away with each cell replication as we get older and older, is that a good thing or a bad thing? And it's a bad thing. It's actually affecting in a negative way the DNA's expression, which we look at outwardly. And we show those signs of aging and then the difficulties that arise with our health as we get older and older. Well, that was awarded the Nobel Prize in 2009, making the correlation between the telomere and the signs and symptoms and growing old and the degenerative issues. Well, Bill Andrews in 1994 discovered this telomerase gene, and he found it in one place in the human body. And the role of the telomerase gene is to keep that telomere long and healthy. And he found it activated, working at 100% in one particular place in the body. And those cells, the telomeres, never shortened. They continued to exhibit or express the same gene expression pattern year after year, decade after decade. They call them an immortal cell because they never damage the DNA, so really there's no aging because that expression is the same. They said if the rest of your body was working like that, you really wouldn't age past full maturity, which would be like 23, 24, 25. So Bill Andrews discovered this gene in operating and keeping this telomere healthy and long. Where did he find it? In the reproductive cells, the sperm and the egg, the actual cells that create a baby. So that's important because you don't want that baby to get worn out cells that show signs of deterioration. So a 40-year-old parent who's been dividing cells for 40 years, if that baby was to inherit that 40-year-old cell that was all worn out, then when the baby was born, the skin, hair, eyes, organs, and bones would all be 40 years old as well, and that just can't happen. So what happens is every time the cells divide in the reproductive cells, this telomerase gene is repairing the damage through DNA replication to the end of the new chromosome. So they call it an immortal cell. There's no limit to the amount of times it could divide because it doesn't show any deterioration. So when Bill Andrews discovered that, he realized in that moment that that was the key, turning on and activating that gene in the rest of the cells. It is working in some places of the human body, but not at full scale. And so we experience the degeneration and the deterioration. In fact, we're accelerating that. Not only are we not feeding our bodies the nutrition and the nutrients that it needs to be the miracle that it is intended to be and has the capacity to be, we're actually destroying the body. They're now measuring children's telomeres, and they're 10 years shorter than they should be for their age. We're accelerating the telomere shortening. So the whole gist of the article on the front page of USA Today was that these kids are going to end up having the degenerative diseases and the issues 10 years earlier than their parents. So the Parkinson's, the lupus, the thyroid, the diabetes, the dementia, the loss of vision and hearing, 10 years earlier. And now it's no wonder that the Surgeon General has stated the children that are being born today, it's the first generation that will not outlive their parents. So we're actually accelerating that shortening on the ends of the chromosomes through lifestyle choices, through stresses that we're putting the body through. So Bill Andrews discovers this thing that can support those telomeres and keep them healthy and long. And he wanted to turn it on. And so they invented the equipment. His lab is the most advanced, technologically most renowned telomerase lab in the world. And exclusively, they've been trying to turn this gene on since 1994. By 1997, they found compounds that activated it and turned it on in the cells where it wasn't being activated. They were using normal human skin cells. And by 1997, they found 8 compounds that would do it. Out of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of compounds, only 8 things they could find to activate this gene, and none of them were natural. They were all chemicals. But they got these normal human skin cells to lengthen the telomeres, and then the telomeres were starting to become immortal in their ability to divide, just like the reproductive cells. By 1999, they're working with Harvard, and Dr. Ronald DeFino headed that up, and he got those compounds to be uptaken by the DNA in mice, everything reversed in the mice. Dr. Ronald DeFino said it was an amazing observation of the reversal of the aging process. These mice that were old all of a sudden appeared young and acted young. Their balance and coordination came back. Their hair grew back. The color of their hair was restored. Their skin got soft and smooth. Their brains, the mental acuity was restored. Their activity level was like a young mouse again. Their bone density was restored, which is very significant. Bone density was restored. Their glucose levels leveled out. It was amazing. In every parameter, they were showing signs of rejuvenation. And when these mice took on this youthful appearance and activity level, they drew the blood from them, and they compared the DNA, the genes expressing, to that of mice that were already young. And what they found in that moment was something very miraculous, the body's capacity to restore that DNA. They call it returning to a young morphology. So the DNA was fixed on that deepest and innermost part of our bodies, our cells in the nucleus, and then that changed the expression of the cell, which then again changed the expression of how we look physically and how we feel and how we think. It was amazing. I mean, that was the huge breakthrough where they took science fiction and made it a reality. They unlocked the miracle of the body. Unfortunately, it was with chemical compounds that were too toxic in nature, and so they were unconsumable for human beings. So they proved what they could do. Now it was a matter of finding something safe, and they've been looking furiously for something safe to do this. And that's why we're on the call tonight. There was a collaboration made between Bill Andrews, the geneticist, who did all this breakthrough work, and a man by the name of John Anderson, who's been formulating and working with natural compounds for over 30 years. He's formulated nutritional products for over 600 companies, over 2,300 different products for people like Nature's Way, Metrex, Nature's Sunshine, GNC, I mean, the list goes on and on, over 600 of them, over 27 countries. He was doing breakthrough work with natural products that nobody had ever figured out how to do. Well, somebody knew both of these gentlemen and introduced them together. His name was Peter Greenlaw. He says, you two need to work this problem out. John Anderson can help you. Bill Andrews, the geneticist, brought John Anderson up to speed, and John said, I've never been more excited in my entire life. What Bill Andrews has taught me, I didn't know anything about. He says, I now have a renewed sense of purpose. And he got to work. He built a $4 million lab exclusively for doing this work with Bill Andrews, brought in the equipment he needed, and started having ingredients shipped in from around the world. And he started working with those ingredients and symbiotically putting them together in a way that only John Anderson knows how to do. And within a year and a half, the first telomere support by the name of Product B is to market. John was able to replicate what Bill was doing in Bill's lab with 100% all-natural compounds. Bill vetted them in his lab. Bill Andrews says now he's never been more excited in his entire life. Product B is their number one priority. He's now put together the greatest scientific team that he could put together to support the work that he and John are doing together. And they've broken through in new research and new science and technology that they patented. He said Product B will change the world as we know it, and we're just getting started. That was in August of 2011. The product has already gotten better and better and better. Bill Andrews said it will change the world as we know it. It will have a bigger impact in human lives than the Internet has had, and it will go on to become a household name and a $1 trillion product. John Anderson said it's the most world-worthy news of all time, and this is the new generation of nutrition, and that we will see miracles and fiction becoming a reality. It's not a drug. We cannot, by law, say that it cures anything. That's left up by the laws of the land and the FDA to pharmaceuticals, chemicals, and doctors. The law dictates that they're the only ones that can cure anything. And since that's the law, we play by the rules. So I have to say Product B is not a drug. It's not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any illnesses or diseases. It's a supplement, guys. It's made from all natural compounds. So we believe that it unlocks the miracle of the body and helping the body and assisting it by partnering up and giving our body what it needs to do just what our body knows and is capable of doing. And I have seen miracles. In fact, my dad, who is now 87 years old, a retired school teacher from L.A., when he retired, he continued to substitute school teach every day. He loved it. Well, he got to the point where his body was atrophying and he just couldn't do it anymore. And he just literally sat on the couch. Hip surgery, stomach surgeries, had his teeth removed. Literally his body was atrophying. And it was scary. When I saw him, I thought funeral. My dad's days are numbered. And when Product B first came out, you got to understand the parent-child relationship. I told them about Product B and tried to convince them that they needed to take it, and they said no. And so I moved on and felt sad about that, but I moved on and continued to share the product around the country. And I was seeing, like John Anderson said, miracles becoming reality. And I saw people in my dad's situation getting their life back. We call it youthful aging. Well, I visited my parents, and it really scared me when I saw my dad. And so I gave them Product B. I said, here, take this. And I stayed with them for 3 days. And it's in powdered form, and it's in capsules. So I said, here, the recommended dosage is that you take 2 in the morning, 2 at night. So here's 2, Dad. Here's 2, Mom. And I gave them a glass of water to swallow them down. And I stayed for 3 days and had them take 2 in the morning, 2 at night. Well, at 4 months, my dad went back to substitute school teaching. Within a few weeks after that, he was out doing gardening and yard work. And he told me, well, I might as well be out doing something rather than sitting around doing nothing. Now it's been about 7 or 8 months. It's fantastic. I'm so excited to be in that catalyst and being that for my loved ones, for my parents who gave me life. So we really have something special here. Bill Andrews, over 30 years of research in this area, tens of millions of dollars, all kinds of research. It was meant to be a pharmaceutical, but his collaboration with John Anderson and meeting the expectations that were in need of being met changed the whole dynamics of everything and getting Product B to the marketplace. John Anderson is one of the co-founders of Isagenix, which is a company that's been around since 2002. It's a home-based company where it allows friends to share with friends, loved ones to share with loved ones, and reap the financial rewards if you so desire. And so here we have this incredible opportunity to take the most world-worthy news of all time when it comes to our health and be pioneers in making history and taking this into the marketplace. And that's what I've been on a mission to do. I have a renewed sense of purpose, just like John Anderson. And over the last 2 years, I've done about 700 presentations. So we want to invite you to join us on whatever level that is. We educate, you decide, we support. And Liddy is the most incredible support system. Her motto is not one person left behind. Whatever level, if you just want to use the product and learn more about it, she's there and put systems into place to help you learn and be able to understand exactly what's going on. If you want to join us and help us to get it into the marketplace proactively, everything is put into place because of Liddy Flom. She's an incredible person in putting together systems so that not one person gets left behind. We truly invite you to get back with the person that got you here. Let them know that, yes, I'm excited. I would like to try it and see what happens for me. And think of other people that come to mind. That's inspiration. Their names are coming into your mind for a reason, for a purpose, because you're the connection between what they're looking for and what you now know. So join us in helping to making a difference in the world. That's truly what we're doing, and it's very fulfilling. So, Liddy, I know that you have some closing remarks and helping people to get tapped into all this and closing out the call, so I'll turn the time over to you.
Thank you, Dave. And I'm looking at my desk, and I have 7 magazine covers sitting on my desk right now, from Oprah to Forbes to Life Extension to the National Geographic to the Time magazine, all talking about the subject matter that we're talking about today. And that happens to be telomeres shortened by chronic stress. The most recent National Geographic says this baby will live to be 120. It's not just hype, it's new science that could lead to very long lives. And then we have the Forbes magazine talking about the peer-to-peer share economy is creating millions of micro-entrepreneurs, disrupting major corporations and creating a handful of jackpots. This is a jackpot. Another one that's talking about entrepreneur startups, this says find the right technology to start and run your own company. All of that is what's packaged. And as a result, we invite you to get back in touch with the person that invited you to be here. I have to say, Dave, I am forever grateful for the call that you made back in March of last year, because I have seen from my very own parents to my very own friends, people in our community and circles beyond that have been able to embrace what is called their challenge, to be able to make some independent choices, and therefore know that life is not lived by chance but by choice. And as a result, there is a way for us to be able to go and partner with you. Let the body take care of the work that needs to be done. This is your body's business partner. And as a result of that, we invite you again to get back in touch with the person that invited you and therefore ask them how it is that you can get this product. There's retail, wholesale, and free options. And with that, I say, tonight's the night that you can begin to start your destiny towards your freedom and be whatever that is, physical and financially. You can have that new day, and it's on the dawn of the break of the new day. So, again, I have to say, again, Dave, it's great to be on these calls, and we're only one conversation away from a solution. Don't fear to ask that next question. What can I do to support the challenge that I stand before or that I want to embrace, which is help those I know, love, and care about? God's blessings to you all, and we'll be on again. That means next week, but we have to say you're invited to go to www.dr.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the call. It was a conference call with Isagenix, and you pretty much got the information there. I would invite you myself to go to my website. That's www.therockofsalem.org. And there you will find the Isagenix label. You'll see their icon. If you click on that icon, it will take you to my web page with Isagenix, and you can read all the information that you want on it. If you're interested, you want to, at whatever level, if you want to be even if you want to be a part of my team, that's totally wonderful, and we can talk about that. You just send me a note, or do whatever you feel that you would like to do. I'm just going to leave that in your hands. While you're there at therockofsalem.org, if you would, support this program by clicking around on our advertisers. We have special relationships with our sponsors to where we actually profit when you visit their sites. So if you would do that, that would help me to not just continue this program, but to grow it in ways that I am hoping to grow it. I want to have more blog show hosts. I want to have a network that's 24 hours around the clock with many different hosts, and I want to just be constantly coming with new information about the things that you care about: your freedom, your health, your wellness, and how to live in this world that's upside down. As we conquer those things that are holding us back, we want to be able to move forward and learn how to live in a society privately, person to person, without dealing with those nasty corporations that extract the wealth of the people. So that was the Isagenix call. Now, with the last few minutes of the call here, I wanted to go over something. There's some late breaking news here. I actually copy-pasted it to a Word document here. There is a move going on right now as we speak. There's a 18-year-old lady, okay? I won't mention her name at this time because I'm just not sure about this, but there's an 18-year-old lady who has written a plan that is now being adopted by thousands and thousands of patriots. Okay? All right? I just want to make that clear. There are thousands and thousands of patriots who are adhering to this plan. Now, phase one, I just looked for it and I can't find it anywhere on their website. I'm looking for it, but I think it has something to do with having patriotic truckers blocking all the roads of Washington D.C. and basically have the Congress and the Senate be forced into making decisions for the people, something like that. If I find phase one, I'll come back on the program and we'll deal with it at that time. But with this last couple minutes here, I just want to go over this. Phase two, and I'm going to read it right off of here. Phase two, written by one of the Patriot team members. Okay, everyone needs to copy and paste this into an email and send it to Congress and Senate, not just of your state, but of all of them. So please share this with your email list and let's flood our representatives' emails. So basically, they're letting the representatives know that they're coming. This is September the 2nd is when it starts, I believe, or maybe it's a little bit after that. But this particular phase two happens on Monday, September the 9th, 2013, at 8 a.m. And they have a plan specifically for the elderly and the handicapped at 10 a.m. For everyone else. They're going to march on D.C. and surround the Capitol where Congress convenes. And we as a people of good conscience hereby demand our constitutional rights to a redress of grievances to be heard by Congress. The redress is a demand for action by Congress to right the wrongs done against us. This is our government, and these are our seats that they sit in. It's time that Congress represents us. And they go on and on and on. I know I'm running out of time here. But they list a whole bunch of different demands, and one of the demands that they're listing is that day that they come to a vote of impeaching President Barack Hussein Obama by a simple majority vote. So that's one of the steps. Also, let's see, a 2/3 vote in the Senate by the end of the day on at least one impeachable charge against President Obama. If for any reason Congress refuses to complete these actions shown by Friday, September the 13th, it is our proof that Congress has no intentions to work with us or things out between us. Then it will be our duty as Americans to remove the government which does not represent us. We will step up until we win. Failure is not an option. They are actually talking about, somewhere in this plan, it says it's an unarmed, peaceful protest, but here's what they're telling people, that if you want to carry, that you can stay on the other side of the river. They're talking about staying in Virginia, where it's legal. If by September the 13th, the demands have not been met reasonably, okay, that's what they're saying, then it's your turn. We will police ourselves in the meantime. That's what they're saying. It sounds like it could really become something, and I'm out of time, so I can't go any further. But I just wanted to get that out there so people understand that this is going on. If you want to find out more, there are places all over the web that are advertising this and pushing this. This is not the Kessler one, okay? Kessler is doing one. This is the other group that's doing this, and we'll talk about more later. God bless you guys. Thank you very much for coming. The Isagenix call kind of took up our time, but it was a good call. It was important for you to understand that there's advances being made scientifically and some good stuff out there. I use it. It's helped me a lot. So everybody have a wonderful night. God bless you and stay safe.